I want you to picture something. It is Saturday morning.
Right?
And you've got somewhere to be.
Oh, like a massive life event or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or, maybe just a weekend get-together. But there are going to be a lot of photos taken.
Oh, yeah.
And you desperately need a haircut. You walk in your local shop, and the waiting area is it's completely packed.
Like every single chair is taken.
Every chair is taken. There's a line out the door. The air is thick with the buzz of clippers and just, that quiet frustration.
Right.
So you sit down and you wait. And 2 hours go by. Or, even worse, you realize way too late that you completely forgot to book anything at all.
Oh, that's the worst.
It really is. And that crisp, clean fade you used to have is now just this fuzzy memory.
Yeah, it is a universal feeling of mild panic, honestly. You look in the mirror and realize your appearance, it no longer matches the way you want to present yourself to the world.
Exactly. And then comes the frantic scramble to fix it. Well, today's deep dive is about the end of that exact anxiety. We are pulling from a fascinating article called The Fade That Never Fades.
It's a great read.
It really is. And we are looking at a massive shift happening right now in Southeast LA, or SEL, as the locals call it.
Right.
The traditional, stressful, totally unpredictable walk-in barbershop model is basically being replaced. These local shops are adopting a modern Netflix-style subscription model.
Which is huge.
Yeah. It's turning what used to be a really frustrating chore into a seamless VIP experience.
Okay.
Let's unpack this. Because to truly grasp how a subscription model works for something as physical as a haircut.
Right, because it's not digital.
Exactly. We first have to understand the stakes. Like, why is a haircut such a critical commodity in this specific community?
Well, context is everything here. And the source material makes a really compelling argument right up front.
Yeah.
In Southeast LA, a haircut, it isn't treated as an occasional luxury. It functions as your business card.
Wow. Your business card. Calling it a business card it shifts the whole paradigm.
It does. It means it's not a chore anymore. It's vital, professional, and social upkeep.
Right. Because the article points out that whether you are heading to a highly serious city council meeting at Southgate City Hall.
Or you're just kicking back at a weekend carne asada with friends and family.
Exactly. Looking sharp is absolutely non-negotiable.
Yeah, it is a foundational part of the culture because it's a form of nonverbal communication.
Okay, say more about that.
Well, when you walk into a room, before you even introduce yourself, that business card has already spoken for you.
Right.
If your fade is sharp and the lines are, perfectly clean, it projects competence, attention to detail, pride.
It communicates that you have your life in order.
Exactly. And showing up looking unkempt signals the total opposite. But the contrast we have to explore here is the gap between that end result and the actual process.
Oh, the process is brutal.
Right. The fresh cut is deeply valued, but the old way of actually acquiring that cut is incredibly painful and inefficient.
Yeah, the friction is just everywhere. The text breaks down the agony of this traditional transaction. First, you have fluctuating prices.
Yes.
You walk in never quite knowing if it's going to be the same price as last month or, if the shop suddenly bumped up their rates to cover rising rent.
Right. You just don't know.
And then there is the absolute dread of the pre-appointment ATM run. Because a huge percentage of these traditional barbershops operate strictly as cash-only businesses.
Which is so stressful. It forces the customer into a scavenger hunt before they even reach the chair.
Literally. You're driving around Huntington Park, scrounging for cash, hoping the ATM at the corner store is actually functioning.
And usually it's not.
Right. Or you're eating a $3 surcharge just to access your own money. And then you're sitting in your car doing mental math.
Trying to figure out if you have enough exact bills to cover the cut and a decent tip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All while stressing out about losing your spot in line inside the shop.
Yeah, that stress compounds immensely. You are burning mental energy on the cash logistics. You are burning weekend hours on the wait time.
Just sitting there.
Right. And you are burning emotional energy wondering if you'll even get into the chair of the barber you actually trust. Or if you'll get stuck with the new guy because you just can't afford to wait any longer.
The article actually compares the old, unpredictable walk-in model to a dry lemonade stand.
I love that analogy.
It's so good. Think about how a lemonade stand operates. It relies entirely on foot traffic and hot weather.
Right.
If it rains on a Tuesday, barbershops operate the exact same way. They are entirely at the mercy of unpredictable daily walk-ins.
Totally.
But, I do have to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Okay, go for it.
We all hate the ATM run. We all hate the waiting room. But is a haircut really something that requires a tech industry disruption?
That's a fair question.
Like, are we taking something fundamentally simple, a guy with clippers and a chair, and just over-engineering it for the sake of an app?
What's fascinating here is that the disruption isn't about changing the physical act of cutting hair.
Okay.
It is about completely restructuring the economic relationship.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. The traditional lemonade stand model, it forces a one-off transaction mentality. Every single time you need a cut, you have to initiate the entire buying process from scratch.
Right. You realize you need the cut, you allocate the time.
You source the cash, you travel to the shop, wait in line, execute the payment.
And doing that, 20 times a year? That creates a massive amount of friction.
And wasted time for busy professionals. The tech disruption removes the friction of the transaction entirely.
Yeah.
It turns that unpredictable lemonade stand into like a reliable water utility company. The revenue flows steadily for the business, and the service flows frictionlessly to the consumer.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
It shifts the dynamic from a one-off transaction to a reliable long-term partnership. And that naturally leads us into how they actually built this solution, the Netflix model.
Right.
Because if the old way is fundamentally broken for both the barber's cash flow and the customer's time, well, the industry had to adapt.
And the subscription model is the perfect adaptation for service-based businesses dealing with high frequency.
Yeah.
The text explicitly tells us to think of it like, well, Netflix, but for your hair.
Okay, but if I'm paying a flat monthly rate, I'm expecting a lot more than just the convenience of prepaying. Like, how does this actually play out in the shop?
It's built on two core operational pillars, the automated billing cycle and absolute booking priority.
Let's look at the financial side first.
Sure. Instead of paying a fluctuating cash price every time you sit in the chair, these models operate on a strict 30-day recurring cycle.
Right.
Your credit card is charged on the exact same date every month, automatically.
Meaning the grooming budget goes from being this unpredictable variable to a fixed, reliable number.
Yes. You never have to guess how much you'll spend on personal upkeep this month.
It's just handled.
It becomes a standard line item in your monthly budget, right next to your gym membership in your streaming services.
That is so convenient.
The financial transaction happens completely invisibly in the background. The dreaded ATM run is eradicated.
Wow.
You walk in, you get your cut, and you walk out. No wallets are ever opened.
Which sounds like a massive psychological relief.
No.
But the second pillar, the booking priority, that seems to be where the real leverage is for the consumer.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the article details how subscription members essentially get to jump the digital line.
Yeah, because time is the most valuable asset being traded here. While walk-in customers are sitting in that packed waiting area, constantly checking their watches, wondering how much of their Saturday is going to vanish.
Oh, I've been there.
Subscription members are using app-based scheduling to secure their slots weeks in advance.
And the text specifically highlights primetime slots.
Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings. Those are the golden hours in any barbershop.
Everyone wants to get a fresh cut before weekend events.
Exactly. And if you are a traditional walk-in, your chances of arriving on a Saturday morning and getting a share immediately, they are statistically near zero.
Basically impossible.
Right. But a subscription member has that exact spot locked down digitally.
So for a working dad in Huntington Park who has to juggle kids' sports, or a young professional in Southgate trying to maximize their weekend, this solves their two biggest structural headaches simultaneously.
Yes, it really does.
You are eliminating financial unpredictability, and you are taking back your time.
As the text perfectly summarizes, you are buying back your Saturday mornings.
Buying back your Saturday mornings. I love that.
You are no longer spending 2 hours of your precious weekend reading old magazines in a lobby. You arrive at your exact appointment time, you sit down immediately, and you leave.
The psychological shift is profound. The customer transitions from feeling like an anxious, rushing participant in a chaotic system
to feeling like a valued partner who is entirely in control of their schedule.
Right. But locking down a Saturday morning slot creates a new problem.
Yeah.
What if my grooming schedule is wildly different from yours?
Right. People have different needs.
A working dad in Huntington Park who just needs a clean trim every few weeks to look professional. He has entirely different needs than a camera-ready real estate agent who needs their fade to look flawless every single day of the week.
Yeah, completely different lifestyles.
So a one-size-fits-all flat-rate subscription would fall apart instantly.
It would fail because it wouldn't reflect reality. And that is why the local SELA shops driving this revolution are tailoring the experience through specific tiers.
Okay.
The source material spotlights a shop called Linea to demonstrate how this customization actually functions in the real world.
Let's break down the Linea membership tiers because the economics of this are brilliant.
Yeah, they really thought this through.
They offer two distinct tiers to solve for those contrasting lifestyles. The first one is the La Linea Flex tier.
And the text defines the target audience for this tier as the maintenance pro.
The maintenance pro. Someone who cares deeply about their appearance and needs to stay clean.
Right.
But they don't necessarily need to be in the barber's chair every 7 days. They might go 2 weeks, maybe 3, depending on their schedule.
The entire architecture of the Flex tier is built around that reality.
How so?
Well, it offers discounted rates that make a consistent, long-term grooming schedule significantly more affordable than paying the walk-in rate per visit.
Okay.
It acknowledges that life fluctuates, you get the benefits of the predictable budget, the invisible payments, and the digital booking priority.
But without the pressure of maintaining a high-frequency schedule.
Exactly.
But then we have the second tier, and here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah?
The LL Unlimited Club.
A completely different value proposition for a completely different kind of consumer.
Right. The text says, this is built for the always camera-ready professional. This is the ultimate VIP vibe.
It really is.
It is designed for those whose jobs or whose highly social lifestyles demand a perfect, pristine fade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And the specific benefit that jumped off the page in the source was unlimited touch-ups.
It completely alters the paradigm of what a barbershop is supposed to be.
It's essentially having a personal glam squad on retainer.
Basically, yeah.
Imagine the confidence of knowing that if you have a massive client pitch on Tuesday morning and then a first date on Friday night, you can just pop into the shop twice in 1 week for a quick touch-up.
Without thinking about the cost.
Exactly. You don't have to do the mental math of, well, I just paid $40 for a full cut last week. Can I afford another $40? Do I really need it?
You just go.
You just go.
Ooh.
You are outsourcing the entire mental burden of your grooming to the shop. You never have an off day.
Never.
But wait, I have to push back here on the actual business economics.
Correct.
If I'm a barber, my time is my inventory. Every minute I spend cutting hair is how I pay my rent.
Right.
If I sell unlimited cuts to a VIP member for a flat monthly rate, and that guy comes in every 4 days for a touch-up, haven't I just severely cannibalized my own hourly rate?
It's a valid point.
Like, I'd be losing money on him.
It's a very logical concern, but it ignores the concept of revenue smoothing and average utilization rates.
Okay, unpack that for me.
Yes. If every single L Unlimited member came in every 4 days, the shop would go bankrupt.
Right.
But human behavior doesn't work like that. The subscription relies on the Pareto principle. You will have a few super users who come in constantly, but the vast majority of subscribers are paying for the availability and the insurance of an unlimited option. They might only come in 3 times a month, but they are happy to pay a premium flat rate just knowing they could come in more if they needed to.
Oh, so they're buying peace of mind.
Exactly. And for the barber, that predictable cash flow is life-changing.
I bet.
Let's say a shop has a terrible, rainy 2 weeks in January. Under the walk-in lemonade stand model, the barbers starve.
Right. Nobody comes in.
But under the subscription model, if they have 200 members paying a flat rate on the first of the month, the shop's rent and overhead are already covered before a single customer walks through the door.
Wow.
The barber is trading a potential loss on a few super users for guaranteed, weatherproof financial stability.
That is a brilliant trade-off.
Yeah.
But as a consumer, when I hear words like subscription and unlimited, a massive alarm bell goes off in my head.
Oh, for sure.
The skepticism kicks in immediately. You start having flashbacks to old gym memberships that required you to send a notarized letter by carrier pigeon just to cancel.
It's the worst.
You worry about getting trapped in an ironclad contract or completely wasting your money if you go on a 2-week vacation.
And that tension brings us directly into how these shops actually write the rules of these subscriptions.
Right.
Because for a model like this to survive and scale in a tight-knit community like SELA, it has to be built on absolute trust.
Yeah, reputation is everything.
If a local shop tries to trap their neighbors in predatory contracts, word of mouth will destroy their business in a week.
So how do shops like Linea handle the logistics of the fine print to build that trust?
They start by removing the biggest barrier to entry, the contract itself.
Oh, nice.
The text emphasizes that modern grooming subscriptions are built as no contract models. You aren't locking yourself into a 12-month commitment.
Okay.
These shops allow you to cancel or pause your membership with a simple 7-day notice before your next billing cycle hits.
That is so reasonable. Just knowing you can hit pause if you were traveling for work for a month or if money gets tight, it removes the anxiety of the commitment.
Right.
It shifts the power back to the consumer.
It does. But the second major consumer fear is the feeling of wasted capital.
Yeah.
What happens if you pay your monthly fee, but life gets chaotic, the kids get sick, and you miss your usual window for a cut?
The classic use it or lose it panic.
Precisely. And this is where the economic logic of the two tiers we discussed earlier diverges. The source notes that shops often allow Flex members, the maintenance pros, to roll over an unused cut to the next month.
Oh, that's great.
Because they are on a limited tier, if they get too busy, the shop ensures they don't lose the physical value they paid for.
Which feels like a very fair, community-minded policy.
But the text makes a vital distinction for the unlimited tiers. Those are strictly use it or lose it.
Which, makes mathematical sense if you think about it.
Right.
If you are offering unlimited touch-ups, you cannot allow rollover. If an unlimited member skips a month and then tries to claim double unlimited the next month, it creates a mathematical impossibility for the shop's schedule.
Exactly.
You'd have a massive backlog of rollover liabilities that would completely clog up the calendar and ruin the booking priority for everyone else.
That is exactly the logistical trap shops have to avoid. And speaking of the calendar, there is one more crucial piece of the fine print that makes this whole ecosystem function.
What's that?
The no-show rule. Even though you are on a subscription, you cannot just blow off a scheduled appointment without consequences. The models enforce a strict 24-hour cancellation window.
So if you're listening to this and thinking, great, I have an unlimited membership, I'll just book a slot every Saturday morning just in case I want to touch up, and if I oversleep, no big deal.
Nope.
The fine print actually stops you from gaming the system. Even if you are an LL Unlimited VIP, if you no-show, you face a penalty or you temporarily lose your booking privileges.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that 24-hour no-show rule protects the fundamental truth of the service industry.
Which is?
The barber's time is their inventory. The subscription model gives you, the consumer, a predictable budget and VIP access, but it only survives if the shop can manage its inventory efficiently.
Makes sense.
If a VIP member no-shows a Saturday morning slot, they haven't just wasted the barber's time, they've actively stolen that slot from another member of the community who desperately needed it.
Right. It creates a closed-loop system of mutual respect. The shop respects your time by eliminating the agonizing 2-hour wait and guaranteeing your spot on a Saturday morning.
Right.
In return, you have to respect the barber's livelihood by honoring that commitment. It ensures that while subscription members get absolute priority, the system itself remains fair and functional.
It is a very delicate balancing act between convenience and capacity.
Definitely.
But when executed correctly, like the source material suggests is happening right now across Southeast LA, it is an incredibly powerful economic engine. It perfectly aligns the incentives of the small business owner with the desires of the client.
So what does this all mean? Let's bring this all together for you listening. We started by exploring the deep cultural weight of the fade in SELA.
Yeah.
That non-negotiable, non-verbal business card that communicates who you are before you even speak.
Right.
And we looked at how the traditional walk-in model with its cash-only ATM runs, fluctuating prices, and endless soul-crushing Saturday morning waits was creating unnecessary anxiety.
It was turning a vital piece of social infrastructure into an exhausting chore.
Exactly. But by shifting to this Netflix-style subscription, the entire dynamic is inverted. The ultimate value proposition here isn't just a haircut, it's peace of mind.
Absolutely.
By locking in a tier, whether it's the Linea Flex to maintain a professional standard or the L Unlimited for that 24/7 camera-ready armor, you are ensuring that you never have to stretch a haircut past its prime simply because payday is a week away.
Or because you don't have time to wait in a lobby.
Right. You are finally mastering your personal grooming budget rather than letting unpredictable transactions master your time.
Yeah, well said.
You keep your local business card razor sharp, you eliminate the friction of cash, and most importantly, you buy back your precious weekend hours.
Yes.
You never have to be that person sitting in the crowded, buzzing lobby for 2 hours ever again.
It really is a quiet revolution in how a community interacts with a foundational neighborhood service. And it leaves me with a thought that I want to pose to you, the listener, to mull over.
Okay, let's hear it.
If this subscription model works so perfectly for preserving the cultural cornerstone of the local barbershop, completely eliminating the traditional friction of waiting, scheduling, and paying, what other locally rooted service-based businesses in your own neighborhood are currently operating like dry lemonade stands, just waiting for this exact same Netflix-style revolution?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
Because once you get used to effortlessly walking past a packed waiting room to sit right in your chair, and you never have to worry about your crisp fade turning into a fuzzy memory,
Well,
you start to look at every other waiting room in your life a whole lot differently.
you really do.